I'll go to YouTube so that I can search for the link. I always say this, but there probably should be a way in which I can get the link prior to the actual live. That way I don't need to fetch it every time. Okay, I'll share it in the Telegram group. Okay, it's shared. Martin, do you want to start?
Yeah, so I have a basic proof of concept working. There were some issues that I was seeing in general when trying to download a blog from a peer. Like more often than not, the request fails. It seems that like I just asked Meg about it, and it seems like the failures are not our fault apparently. So I'm trying to see what the approach is, because like how many retries do we want to like, and probably we won't want to like get into an infinite loop of retries and swallow potential errors that might be our fault. So I'm trying to think about like a good strategy, like kind of like a middle ground. But anyway, I'm gonna just clean up the code and work on testing today, and just try to have a PR.
That's very cool. That was one of the trickiest things that we were handling. So congrats for that. We'll see how it goes. And if you need any helps with the tests, feel free to make us some questions about that. But I'm really glad that you get a working POC for that. I think that Thomas is next. Do you wanna tell us? Well, I don't know if you have any updates. Do you?
Well, from last Wednesday, from this
Right.
Wednesday, I added the configuration part, the config and preset, added the loading for for constants defined in the spec configs and presets. That PR is already merged. I also finished some things on the PR about migrating to ports. I saw you left me some comments. I'll work today on addressing them. Mostly, I'll try to take it a bit easier today because I'm still a bit tired from the flight. But yeah, that's all.
How many hours was that? Was that 14? Was it 18 hours of flight?
13, the
13.
intercontinental flight, and 2 hours, something like that, for the smaller
flyover.
flight. Yeah.
Yeah, that does things to you, especially the time difference. Okay, glad to see that you're on the other side and you're well. Of course, feel free to rest if you need to. I think that I'll go next then. Most of yesterday was spent on the fork tree POC, but that was I uploaded a PR for that, and then it was merged. After that, I started working on something I don't remember, but after that, if I remember, I will say it. After that, I started working on some documentation. Oh yeah, I actually spent some time reviewing the ports PR because it was a big one. So sorry if there are too many comments. They're not very bad comments. They're mostly about documentation and making sure that that like the general flow is documented, because it's one of the less trivial parts that we have right now in the client.
All
As
comments
for
are
me,
welcome.
awesome. On the and what I was doing afterwards was writing some documentation on the architecture of the whole client. I used to have many diagrams, like mermaid diagrams in Notion, but not a public one. So I'm moving all of those to the repo so that everyone can access them, and also structuring them in a way that can be read. I hope that this can be sort of an introduction to people that haven't yet started working on Ethereum at this of a low level. Maybe an easier introduction than reading the specs as they are. You still need to read the specs at some point, but maybe for starters, you can start with this. I already uploaded a draft, but I'm still working on it, and I will upload it finished by today. I'm mostly focusing on like block diagrams, some sequence diagrams explaining how like a proposal works, how attestations work. I'm trying to build a path from, hey, this is Ethereum to that, and I actually changed a lot in the previous document that I had because I found I reread it and I did find it confusing. So I made like way simpler, way not I don't know very shorter, but simpler definitely. And then I'm trying to build a path from like very, very basic introduction until how fork trace works. And that should be a help to people working on the fork trace issues that I will also be writing today, so that they are ready for the next week. I think that probably one of the blockers that we will have is being able to process attestations in libp2p. But I think that maybe if we can build the issue for that, or the issues for that, then maybe someone that will start a bootcamp next week can take some of that, so they can start learning about NIFs, start learning how everything is done, and then just to the like. Yeah, like I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, Thomas. As you have been working way more than me on this part of the client, but for subscribing to attestations, most of it is already there, right? It's very similar to subscribing to blogs.
Yes, it's mostly the same. I think we left it like the it's general over every gossip topic. You just subscribe to another one and specify a module, I think, for handling the resulting messages. And that we just need to declare that new module with a handler for attestations.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll start an issue for that so that someone can take it next week. And yeah, that's it. That's all the updates for me. Any final comments or questions? All right, that's great. Yeah, we'll be updating the participants of the bootcamp very soon with instructions. I hope that I can get that ready today, but the idea is to start the bootcamp at some point next week. And yeah, sorry to keep you waiting. I'm trying to get all of that ready as soon as possible. And yeah, I'm very excited to start this. I'm very excited to see your faces and start working with you all together on this client. So yeah. Aside from that, I hope that you'll have a great weekend, and yeah, see you all next week. Thanks for joining.